What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and today I'm back with another video here. So, game 20, and the Flyers lose again, 8 in a row for this team. And honestly, I'm kind of mixed at this point. I mean, I look at this as you are a team that is a lottery team, right? You're in that mix. And when I look at this and I look at, okay, you have all these players out, you have all these guys trying to come in and play, whatever. They really aren't playing that bad, considering their lineup. I mean, if you're looking at this is, again, basically a glorified AHL squad. And, considering the circumstances, they really aren't playing that bad. It's just frustrating because of what we have dealt with for the last handful of years, that you really don't want to continue to watch this same stuff every single season. And 2-1 games are the type of games that the Flyers are supposed to win under head coach John Tortorella. The games that, again, they have, the entire organization has said this many times, they don't really have the offense to put up these type of numbers, or at least the numbers that they were at least putting up in the beginning of the season. Whether that's goaltending, whether that's offense, defensively, whatever. And I didn't really think the Flyers played that bad. I mean, for what it was, it was a back and forth first period. You scored first for the only sixth time all year, in 20 games. And I'm trying to find the positives. I talked about last game how there wasn't really, not many positives. There were some things. Just couldn't really get anything going last game against Calgary. And the two things that I picked up were the penalty kill and Joel Farabee scoring a goal. And I talked about that in the game review. And as for today, in tonight's game against Washington, I looked at it as a couple of things. You scored first. Obviously, you haven't really done that a lot. And Morgan Frost scoring a goal tonight was a positive sign. Again, for the Lions, Farabee with Frost and Tippett, Noah Cates with Hayes and McEwen, Jackson Cates with Brown and Legzinski, Delorier with Sedlak and Bellows, Provorov with D'Angelo, Sanheim and Braun, Sealer and Risto with Sandstrom was in net for this one. The Flyers wore their reverse retros, which they're still undefeated in regulation. They're 1-0-1 in those jerseys. They'll be wearing them again on Friday against the Penguins on Black Friday. Again, first period, the Flyers, I thought they had a good first. I mean, for what it was and what you're going up against, I know the Caps had lost 4 straight coming into this game, and they also, they had the rest factor that I was talking about. And, if you're looking at this for the Flyers, a couple good plays early. They had a shot from Bellows on a 2-on-1. Provorov had a nice exit for the fourth line, and then Frost scores 1-0. It was a high shot, and it was a good play for Frost to get a puck on net. And sometimes lucky goals like that can, stir your confidence up a little bit. I thought Frost had a pretty nice game. Some plays where he kind of get knocked off the puck, but again, he's a smaller type of guy. And again, you have to look at the matchup for that line too. I mean, it's only their third game together. Not a great game against Calgary, and they broke them up for a period in the third and puts them back together tonight, because really the Flyers don't have anything after, and Frost will take it. And the Flyers had chances to actually score, because Kemper did not look good early, and if they did, Delorier hit the post. Legzinski had a chance after that. Frost has a turnover here at the blue line that led to a chance for Jensen. And then the Capitals get a power play. It was 1-1 from Johansson. It was a kick, and then 20 seconds later, it's 1-1. Actually scores this time. Johansson gets a little piece of the Ovechkin shot. So 1-1. Flyers get a power play, and the power play was just bad tonight. From the first period, the first power play the Flyers had in this game was their best power play. Tippett had a hit the post off the draw, and then D'Angelo had a shot. Really nothing from the second unit, but the first unit, that was their best look all game. Capitals had a handful of chances. After that, Sandstrom had some nice saves. Again, I thought Sandstrom had a good game. I mean, for what it was, he kept the Flyers in it. 29 saves on 32 shots for Sandstrom. Really not much of a chance on really any of the goals, honestly. The first one gets through him. The Milano tying goal Again, it looked offside, and I was surprised there was only one legit replay of it that was really far out. Why didn't they go to the camera at the blue line? They do that all the time. I'm not sure why they didn't do that, because he probably would have been able to tell. Again, I didn't think they had a bad first period, and again, the start has been an issue for most of the season so far, and it's weird. It's like some games the start is bad, some games the second period is bad, some games it's flip-flopped where the first is good, the second's good, whatever, but it's never in that order. In the second period, the Flyers only had 4 shots and came out of this with a 2-1 lead, because Netsov had a chance off the rush. I thought it was an even period at most, points of the period, because the Caps had a good amount of chances early, and then the Flyers had a couple chances of their own, so it's pretty even. Then the Caps get a power play. Oshie had a chance from the high slot. Sandstrom really, again, stoned Ovechkin. I didn't hate the penalty kill tonight. I just felt like they gave up way too many chances. But again, with their lineup going up against the Capitals' power play, it's kind of hard to really look at it that way. Again, they only had 2 shots for the first 12 minutes, and that's the thing. They're not able to generate as much offense as they likely would be able to if you had Couturier, Konechny, Atkinson, Allison, Lawton, right? All of these other guys, Van Riemsdyk. If you had all these players, even Ryan Ellis, if you had all of these guys, you'd be able to generate a lot more plays. Strome hit the post and tight. Sandstrom was just kept keeping them in it, and then Ovechkin was stoned after that post off the rush. And then the Flyers score. It was a nice play from the top pairing. I really like how D'Angelo walks the line and how he makes those plays. Like, he is so good at just up tight on the line, keeping the puck in, but still finding a lane or getting a shot through, whatever. D'Angelo sends it over. Delorier with a little just chip pass. Provorov gets it on net at the flex. Brown is there. It goes off of Brown and in, so it's 2-1. Johansson had a chance in tight, and there's always some play after a goal, right? And that's the unfortunate thing. Would have been 3-1 Flyers here, but Bellows scores off of a play where it was a really nice play, and I thought Bellows had a really good game. I mean, he was making plays. He looks a lot more comfortable than he usually has. So I'm curious if that kind of continues. There's been some games where he's looked better than others. Some games he's just looked really off. Again, playing fourth line doesn't help him in his case, but really he hasn't shown much to get really put that much higher. If you're looking at it that way, you could argue the same thing for Frost, but we saw what Frost could do last year, and I think that's where the frustration, for myself at least, and then other people came in as well. Power play here for the Capitals, and it gets called off because of an interference call on Sedlak. Frost had a nice stick at the line, good positioning, and they got some clears. Outside of that, though, really not a great second period. And in the third, I thought the Flyers did a good job of their defense at the line, keeping Washington out of rhythm to at least make plays. I thought Sandstrom had they only limited them to 3 shots, and outside of that, there was a stretch of like 5, 6, 7 minutes where there was just no whistles. After the Flyers had the power play, the 5-on-3 for 10 seconds, and then that power play, they did nothing with it. Absolutely nothing. They had no shots on both power plays combined. You have to generate a chance there, and there's enough talent on this team right now to at least have a better power play than what they have shown in recent games. And again, they have lost 8 games in a row. But again, looking at the way that they have played, looking at their lineup, and looking at how much they often shoot themselves in the foot, it's very unfortunate to kind of see that, because you had the chance here to kind of ice it. If that Sedlak doesn't take a penalty, it's 3-1. Maybe Bellows doesn't score there. I don't know. I mean, there's always that argument too. But still, you had a lot of chances, and then even in overtime. Again, the Milano goal too, and before I get to overtime, the Milano goal, it looked offside. I'm curious what the blue line camera was. But obviously, I don't know if the camera on the TV feed is the same as the feed in between the bench. Maybe they got the blue line camera in between the bench. I don't really know. I think that's what it is. I think for me, it's frustrating because it looked like a win up until that point. And it looked like they were just going to be able to maybe squeeze that one out, but unfortunately they don't, and Ovechkin scores in overtime. I mean, I have my complaints about overtime and really who should be out there. I don't really like Hayes in overtime, honestly. I don't think Hayes has been all that good this season. I don't know if the injury might be still bothering him, not in the sense of like, he can't play or anything like that. Again, I don't know if there's anything with his brother, unfortunately, who passed away last year. I don't know if it's anything like that. I've been, he's putting up points, and I think a lot of that was because he was carried by the connecting line, and I think you're really starting to see that he's just not a first line center, and it's not a shot at Hayes. It's just I personally have been very frustrated with his play, especially him playing at such a high up in the lineup because of where they're at. But again, the Flyers take on Pittsburgh in the Black Friday game on Friday coming up. Let me know your guys' thoughts below. Remember to check out the podcast. It's going to be on this Sunday at 7 with Bill Matz for Broad Street Hockey. Going to be really fun. Always I enjoyed Bill's stuff. So, thanks everybody so much, and I'll talk to you all again soon.